In this video, we're going to convert some planks of wood into a luxurious hedgehog house. And I'll be walking you through all the different steps, giving you a cutting guide as well. And if you stick around all the way to the very end, I'll let you know how you can also get hold of my design for this house, which will include all the instructions and a step-by-step guide to building it. So stay tuned. Hello there, welcome to Hedgehog Hollow. My name is Mike and Hedgehog Hollow is the channel for people passionate about hedgehogs. And if you are passionate about hedgehogs, then it's quite possible that you already have one, maybe two, perhaps like me, 3 hedgehog houses within your garden, but somehow you can never get too much and too many hedgehog houses. So today I am going to build an additional hedgehog house, and the reason behind that is that as the hedgehogs have been coming out of hibernation, I now have 2, Walter and Ollie, who are residing in the houses in the garden, but actually there's been a little bit of switching taking place as the hedgehogs are moving from their winter hibernation house into a more summer residence. And hedgehogs will often do that, which means that there are generally two hot periods of the year when the hedgehog property market is at its hottest, and that is coming out of hibernation, so kind of late winter, early springish, and also then when the hedgehogs are getting ready to go into hibernation, so that's just at the end of autumn and into winter. So I'm going to be building an additional house and then let the hedgehogs sort themselves out. Hopefully that will mean that they will take up a summer residence in 2 houses and I can clean out the winter residences, but that's still to come. Let's first see what exactly we need in order to build a hedgehog house. Let's start by looking at the hedgehog house design. I'm going for a really simplistic, just a box shape with an interior wall, and the importance there is that that's going to create an entrance tunnel, a 90-degree turn, and then kind of an internal living area, and that's going to give the hedgehog a fantastic amount of security. And if you saw the video about the fox attack on one of our hedgehog houses, you'll know that it's really important to have that security element, the entrance tunnel, with an appropriate size. So that's the normal hedgehog hole size of 15 by 15 centimeters, or around about the size of a CD case, that entrance tunnel, and then a 90-degree turn. So that gives the hedgehog as much security as possible. In terms of the requirements, that means we need 2 pieces to form the floor, 5 elements to create the upright vertical walls, an additional 2 pieces to form a roof which will be detachable, allowing us easy access to clean it in the future, and a couple of pieces that will form the feet upon which the house will stand. And that really is important as well. You don't want to put the floor of the house flat onto the ground. You want to lift it up to ensure that during the winter months it doesn't stand in any water or get soggy or damp, and keeps the hedgehogs inside as dry as possible. So with the design in place, I now know what materials I will require. I'm going to use planed redwood that I'm going to buy from my local builders merchants, and in total I'm going to need 5 meters of wood length. I'm using 25mm by 200mm wood, which is going to be cut specifically into 3 lengths of 1.2 meters and 1 length of 1.4 meters. My builder's merchant is charging me 722.1 pence per meter, so when I work out that really weird calculation, it's 36.11 or 36 pounds 11p. With that on top, it comes to a total of 43 pounds and 33 pence. But how does that compare to the price of actually going and buying a house for yourself? Well, I would always suggest looking to buy a house from a local hedgehog rescue if you can, and supporting that hedgehog rescue like I did last year when I bought a house, and that house from Brockworth Hedgehog Rescue was £40. So in total the cost to buy and the cost to build are relatively similar, and it comes down to your own personal taste, whether you wish to buy or you wish to build. The prices are fairly similar. But we're going to build, and before we start measuring up and ordering our timber, one quick thing to be aware of: the difference between nominal size and finished size. Even though the wood is advertised as being 25 by 200 mil, once planed down and prepared, it's actually much smaller. It is 20.5 mil by 194 mil, and that's important when it comes to doing the sizing and measuring of our wood cuts. Now I'm going to give you some very specific measurements that I've used in getting the wood that I require, but you may use other sizes wood, and that's entirely up to you. What I would say is really important is the relationship between the width of the wood you're using and the size of the walls. So I've used some wood that has come in at around 2 centimeters thick, and then it's around 19.5 centimeters wide. And that means that when I'm considering how I'm putting my walls together, I need to consider that in some places that those walls are going to create a buffer of 2 centimeters, and where I am spanning across lengths or widths of board, I need to consider that. So now to our cutting guide, and don't forget, you can get a copy of the cutting guide and building instructions using the link that I will give you at the end of this video. What you want to do is cut the pieces as follows. The first piece of 1.2 meters should become 2 pieces of 60 centimeters. The second one should become 3 pieces of 38 centimeters, leaving a remainder of 6 centimeters. The third one is 56 centimeters, 44 centimeters, and then a piece of 20 centimeters remaining. And lastly, the 1.4 meter piece of wood should be cut in half into 2 segments of 70 centimeters each. So our cutting is mostly complete and our component pieces are laid out. If we go back to our original design plan and we apply that plan to the way that our pieces are now distributed, we can rearrange the pieces in such a way as we can start construction. Having completed all of the cutting, it's on to construction itself, and you want to start with pieces 1 and 2, which will form the floor, and piece number 4, which will be the side wall. You want to attach the side wall on top of the 2 floorboards and attach it with nails from below. Next, you want to do a little bit of pre-construction, and you want to take the front wall marked 5 and the interior wall marked 7 and attach them to each other, ensuring that the interior wall sits at the end of the front wall. And then you're going to take that construction and you're going to attach it to the floorboards. So that will sit on top of the floorboard and be inside the side wall, effectively extending the extent of the front wall. Next, we're going to take the section marked number 3 and we're going to use it as the left hand side wall. This will sit on top of the floorboards once more and should be flush with the width of those floorboards. So place it on top and nail it into position from beneath, and that will ensure finally that your floorboards are absolutely solidly in position. Now you want to take the small 6 centimeter segment that you had remaining as an offcut and cut it to size to fit in as an archway, basically above the entrance to the tunnel, and you nail that into position from the sidewall piece number 3 that you've just added. Before we complete the house construction with the back wall, we're first going to take care of the feet, and I do this at this stage simply because it's easier to access inside the house and nail the feet into position without the back wall in place. So in order to get the feet created, we're going to return to our spare piece of wood that was a segment of 44 centimeters, and we're going to cut it into 6 different pieces. 4 of those will be 8 centimeters wide and 2 will be 6 centimeters wide. We're going to use the 4 8cm wide pieces as feet upon which the house will sit, and so nail them into position from above and attach them to the floorboards so that the house sits up off the ground, and we're going to protect our hedgehogs from any rising damp that they might get in their house. The final piece in the construction of the house itself is to place the back wall into position, and so this should fit snugly in place between the 2 side walls and on top of the floorboard, and that last segment will allow us to complete the construction of the house, nailing it securely into position through the side walls and up through the floorboard. Finally, it's time to create the roof. So take pieces 8 and 9 in combination, our 2 70cm wide pieces, lay them alongside each other and secure them together using the 2 6cm segments that we created when we made the feet of the house. By securing them together, we create the roof. One thing to watch out for, just make sure that your roof can fit snugly on top of the house and that the interior tunnel wall doesn't get in the way of the interior batten that you're using to secure the roof together. So there you go. First phase is ready. We've constructed the house, but now we have to prepare it and then settle it down for the hedgehogs to discover. So the first part of preparing it is just to put a little bit of straw or hay on the inside. Don't pack it. There is no ways that you could ever pack it as full as a hedgehog will, but just equip it with a little bit of a starter. I've got some store-bought hay here that I'm just going to pile into the base of the house. Not too thick, not too compact, but just so that when the hedgehog moves in, it discovers a nice, relatively warm place for it, and it will then set about going through the garden and finding more and filling it up. Just fill the living area, don't worry about the tunnel, keep that tunnel open and the hedgehog will move in for sure. You want to place your hedgehog house in a nice quiet area of your garden. I've chosen to put it along a back fence and also beneath a privet tree or a shrub, which basically will reproduce the environment of being beneath a hedge. It's nice and quiet and relatively dark, and so the hedgehogs will feel quite comfortable in that area and hopefully discover the house in just a few nights' time. And indeed, Walter has discovered the house for himself, and over the next few days he may well choose to move in and make it his summer residence. If you've enjoyed this and you want to build your own house, then why don't you use this QR code and download the construction guide that is available, or go to the website at hedgehogshollow.com, and there's a whole section about building a hedgehog house and you can download the construction guide there. If you've enjoyed this video, then do please give it a like. That's always good for YouTube to see you enjoying our content. Until next Thursday, from myself, Mike, take care. Bye bye.